News that migrant detainees were undergoing forced sterilization procedures captured the nation's interest only for a few minutes. And of course, then they moved on.
Right.
It's corporate media is such a train wreck.
Well, the president got sick, and oh my God, and there was a debate, and we miss the real stories that are happening.
Talk
in this country.
about this is a nauseating story. The only positive on this, is at this point they don't have all the evidence on this case. If they do, this is a very, very ugly case.
Right. So basically, to take it back, I guess about a month or so ago, whistleblower nurse who had worked at this detention facility, a woman by the name of Dawn Wooten, came out and said, listen, there is evidence that says there is an abnormally large number of hysterectomies being performed on the women in this Georgia detention facility. Shortly after that, you had some of these women start coming forward and say, yes, I'm actually one of them. I had a hysterectomy. They didn't exactly tell me why it was happening, or they may have exaggerated the number of cysts that I had because a follow-up at another appointment said, no, this was not surgically necessary.
See, that's where the screw turns, you see. This doctor who they call the uterus collector. I mean, that's his name, the uterus collector. Well, he says, I did this because there was this large number of cysts, ovarian cysts that really concerned me. And I don't know how many women he saw, but right now there's at least 5 to 7 women that I've been able to calculate in these stories. Does that number sound about right?
Right. So far from what we know, that's how many there are. But this doctor has a bit of a troubled history. I was looking through it actually earlier today, trying to find more backstory on this man. And it turns out back in 2015, he got popped by the DOJ, a very easy slap on the wrist kind of pop.
Yeah.
But he had submitted, according to the DOJ, fraudulent claims under Medicaid and Medicare. And it was fraudulent billing. He was saying, oh, I performed this procedure, and this procedure. Turns out he didn't perform them. He was just doing it to get extra money. And that was 5 years ago that he was fined for it, activity going all the way back to 2013.
Yeah.
So this, to me, is one of those stories. Had they actually punished the man, he wouldn't have been around to do this.
It's always the same story.
It is.
They will not perp walk CEOs of corporations. They rarely perp walk doctors for this kind of thing. They slap them on the wrist and then they move on. But you see, that fits so perfectly into the story.
It does.
Obviously, if he's doing hysterectomy, the billable number on that is higher. Yep. He comes up with an X-ray to remove cysts. Well, it's a fairly substantial number of involvement of cysts and those types of blockage possibilities that raise the need for surgery. And so the women that were looked at least a few of them, went back for a second opinion and said, did he really have to do that? And then, of course, it's Monday morning quarterbacking.
Right.
But the doctors say no, he didn't. But if you look at this guy's history, you have to believe that you can't change the stripes on a zebra. Well,
and I think to me, that's a big part of this too. This isn't necessarily the Trump administration is sterilizing people.
No,
this is you've got a real bad doctor who has a very serious and very real history of upbilling. And he found out, okay, I can't say I'm doing a procedure and not do it, so I'll just do the procedure. I think that's what this evolved into with the doctor.
Because it's more money.
Right. Well, I can't just say I did it. They're going to notice if this woman didn't have it. So let me just do it. I've done it 100 times. I know how to do it. It's fast. It's easy. I can bill it. More money for me. This is a migrant. Who cares? And that's the other part of it. They think, well, it's not a U.S. citizen.
Right,
it's not somebody who can go to a lawyer. They're here illegally.
But honestly, I don't see this as an ICE undertaking to get these people. That's where the story gets a little weird.
I think there's a big disconnect between the two. Right.